If you manage to attend 10 health lectures, you are going to get this wonderful, amazing Health Facts magazine. So this is a free magazine that you'll receive. It will only cost you coming and attending. How will I know that you have come the 10 times? We have a registration program to help me check every night that you have made it, and then I can give you that. I have some helpers who have some registration cards that will help me to track every evening whether you have come. And then when we reach the 10th day, if you have come for those 10 times, you will have that free magazine. Do we have the helpers with those registration cards? Yeah, if you want to get that magazine, just raise your hand. You will be given that, you register, and then you will be in our computer system. I will check every night that you're coming. Raise your hands as they're passing. You can register, and then just fill in the thing. Don't remove what's on it. There are two sides. There is one to be filled, and there is another one that is supposed to, this tent has no one. Do we have someone? Okay, yeah. Please help these people. Do we have someone in this tent that is helping people register on this end? Any other helper on this end? Please get the paper, register your name, and then every evening, there's that little thing that is behind it. Please don't remove it. Don't remove it, just finish. And then when we close tonight, you will go back to the table there. There will be two tables. You'll drop that thing there, and they will help us to know if you've come the next day. And they will tell you what to do with that little thing behind it. So don't detach it. So take time and fill it, and just keep it, and you'll drop it when we finish. We want to begin our Issues of the Heart seminar. Issues of the Heart. How many of you came with your hearts? Okay. Thank you for coming with your heart. We are going to have this wonderful seminar on relationships. This seminar is for those who wish to build working relationships that are leading to thriving marriages. In every place that you go, you will find people of different categories. You will find those who are single and not worried. Single and not worried. Then we will get those who are single and searching. And then there are those who are single and worried because they are searching and searching, but they don't seem to be seeing, and so they begin to get worried. And then there are those who are married and worried. They are already married, but they are very worried because of what is happening in their marriage. And then there are those who are married and happy. That is where we want people to be, happily married after a few years from this place. So this seminar is a relationship seminar. It's going to go with us for 7 days. And it's not just for those who are having relationships for fun. If you are looking to have fun, get some football and some hockey thing and just go have fun, not someone's heart. Because we can replace hockey sticks, can't we? Yeah, we can replace other balls that we use, but you can't replace a heart when you break it. So this seminar is not for those who are having relationships for fun. It is for those who are in relationships or want to get into relationships that are leading them to a wonderful marriage or a thriving society. We are going to look at how to differentiate love from lust, or this emotional rush that we call infatuation. We will also look at the practical steps that can help you in preparing for marriage. We will look at the factors to consider before you say, I do. Many of you are looking forward to that day. You'll stand in front of the church, and after the pastor asks several questions, you will say, I do. What should you do before you say, I do? We'll also look at some of the red flags that you should consider when you're in a relationship. How do I know that this relationship is toxic and it's going to cost me? How do I know? We'll also look at how pornography, premarital sex affects your mental health or emotional health, and consequently how it might affect your relationship and your marriage. Many of us are addicted to these things. But do they have any negative effects? We shall find out. And then we'll look at the practical steps of developing purity as a person. Your speaker for this seminar is the one that is speaking to you. My name is Moses Wasonga. I speak to you as an experienced youth counselor who has a firm belief on the institution of marriage. And so I welcome you to join me in that. I myself, I am married and not worried. I am happily married. I don't have a lot of experience, but I think I have enough to tell you the mistakes to avoid. I have enjoyed marriage for 4 years. Now that doesn't mean that marriage doesn't have problems to endure. The problems are there, but I think I have enjoyed the company that I have found in it, and we have found a way to sail through to this moment. I have a wife who is a lady. She could wave. If you see someone waving, just know. You see how happy she looks? That's how happy I look. What are our references in this seminar for relationships? Number one, we are going to use scientific literature. What does science say about love and marriage? We are going to look at research on human behavior. What have psychologists, psychiatrists, and people who study in those fields, what have they found out about human behavior? We will use the open book of human experience and personal experience. I have personally gone through a lot. I have been in a relationship that didn't work, and finally one which worked. I have been heartbroken, heart mended, and now I am enjoying my heart is with someone safely. So, I will give you my own experiences so that you avoid making the same mistakes. And we will also use that old book full of wisdom, the Bible. So those are our course books, our sources that we are going to use. A warning to you as we begin this seminar. Our approach for the relationship seminar is not going to follow those typically scripted romantic movies of Hollywood and Bollywood and Nollywood, where people just meet at first sight and they say, I think I have fallen for you. And after they have fallen, they stand up, they brush themselves, and they meet the next person, they fall again, and the other one they fell for is left standing. And they keep falling and standing like that. No, we shall seek what I call a more conservative view of love and relationships. Because I have seen that these conservative views have resulted in happier marriages than the liberal views that we see on media today. So if it's difficult, it's for your own good. Now, our key verse that I like to reflect on, where I got that theme, issues of the heart, was given to us by the wisest man that ever lived. What was his name? What was his name? The wisest man who ever lived? King Solomon. Unfortunately, this wise man had a lot of failed relationships. But after the problems he found, he gained more wisdom to advise us. Proverbs 4:23 says, are you able to see already? Not yet, but you'll see. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring forth the issues of life. If there's anything you should keep with all diligence, it's not your ATM card. What should you keep with all diligence? Your heart. Why? Out of the heart comes the issues of life. If there is anything that a young lady and a young man should take care of, is the state of their heart. And we are going to see how we can do that. Tonight's topic out of our seminar is that sweet phrase, I love you. When people hear that word, I love you, that phrase, you hear it with your ears, but it is as though your body has heard it also. And your body can behave in certain ways, though it just came through your ears, and you wonder, how come? And the one that is told I love you might sometimes overestimate, underestimate, overreact, underreact, misbehave, because someone just said what? I love you. And you feel like you are the chosen one, isn't it? Yeah, even me. Nange, someone loves me. Hey, the way I come from our village, yes, I love you. How many of you have ever been told that? You're not going to be honest. I know you. You will not say. Let me see those who have been told I love you here. Let me see. Oh, wonderful. I see. I see. How many of you have told other people, I love you? You have told. You have told. Let me see. We are speaking to professionals, isn't it? People have experienced these things. I'm not saying, I know some of you, the one you told is already here, and it failed already, so you're wondering whether you should raise your hand or not. Don't worry. People heal and move on. I love you. Now, I am sure that those of you who have told someone I love you, or you are told I love you, you were not taught that phrase by your parents. Is it true? Never even did you hear your parents telling each other what? In Africa, in Africa, our parents never say I love you. Or who comes from a home where you have heard such things? I am sure most of us have learned love on movies and screens. That's how you have learned. Now listen. Even though Africans naturally did not love to say I love you, they demonstrated love by action. But what worries me is that our fathers and our mothers, my mother who might not have even received a good proposal, is still in her marriage enjoying it today. But some of her daughters who had the opportunity to choose the one they thought they what? They loved. And some of their sons who have learned to overuse the word, I love you. The loves they chose and the people that they have loved are not lasting. So, should we stop saying I love you and just copy what our parents did? By the way, how many of you were ever told by your parents I love you? Let me see those few people. You were told I love you. These are those kings and queens of Africa. The rest of us were outcasts, weren't we? Nevertheless, our parents demonstrated that they did what? They may never have said it, but they did show that they did what? They loved us. According to one news article, it says here that overused, misused, and abused the word love. What have they done with the word love? Overused, misused, and abused until it has lost its meaning. We use the word love everywhere and all the time without thinking about what it means, what it stands for, and what it involves. If you are dating someone for a while and physical attraction is more than you can bear, something is beginning to happen in you, and you don't know how to express what you're feeling, what do you say? You simply say, I love you. Sure. You never say, the news article says, you never say, I lust you, even though what you're feeling might be correctly termed what? Lust, and not love. That's interesting. Lust comes and goes, but love sounds more permanent. You see, nowadays, everything that we meet, we say we love. When you're in campus, you say, oh, I love this course, microbiology. Okay. I love my phone. Okay. I love everything we meet nowadays. We say we what? We love. We don't even consider whether that thing can truly be loved. Most of the things we say we love, we like. It's not that we love them. Love is something deeper. And so this evening, we just want to know, how can I tell true love and differentiate it from lust? How can I know? Because everyone around us might be saying, I what? I love you. And it's not a sin to be loved. Love is a gift. And it is wonderful to receive it. But some Bible verse says, it is more blessed to give than to what? To receive. So even though you are looking forward to be loved, I am looking forward for you to love someone too. Not just to be loved. The abuse and misuse and overuse of the word love leads us to ask ourselves, is it lust or is it love? But how can we know? You You see, I want to begin by saying that if you're looking forward to a marriage, love is the only lasting foundation for a thriving family. Nothing else can hold two people together except what? Love. Nothing else can bind a couple for life except what? Love that endures. You probably heard of this couple. You can't see them. I can see them here. I'll see them for you. How many of you have heard of Bill Gates? You must have heard of him. You may have heard of the news in 2021 that Bill and his wife Melinda Gates got a divorce after 27 years of marriage. Can you imagine? 27 years of marriage. Year 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of you are still 20, 21. Those people were married before you were born. They were married. Then 2021 they decided enough is enough. Now, what do we know Bill Gates for? What do you know him for? Money, isn't it? We usually say that that guy is so rich, one of the wealthiest people on earth. Now, their wealth, their fame, their social status could not keep their marriage together. A time came when they said enough is what? Enough. Now, some of you are looking forward to marriages that are built on wealth. Bill Gates' experience seems to tell us that even money cannot keep marriage what? Together. Even the wealthy, they divorce. So how can I tell whether it is genuine love or mere lust? How do I know? According to one website, the main difference between lust and love is that lust is purely sexual attraction, while love is both passionate and compassionate. So you need to ask yourself, am I just having a sexual urge, or there is something beyond this? If it's just a sexual urge, you can be sure it will go down at some point. The most commonly understood distinction between lust and love is that lust is purely physical and sexual, whereas love includes, what does love include? It includes care for someone well behind their function as a source of yearning and sexual gratification. What that means is, love wants your good, not just your body. Love cares. Love wishes to know how you're doing and how your mind is. Lust does not care if you had a bad day. Lust says we need to sleep, please. Love says, how has been your day? Are you okay? Is everything well? How is your academics? Okay, that's love. Love goes beyond just having fun with the body. So this relationship and intimacy experts tell us about it. Now, why is it important for a young person who is looking forward to get married to know the difference between love and lust? Why is it important? For the same reason why you need to know the difference between a genuine and a fake note. How many of you have been deceived by a fake note in this city of ours? A fake note. How much was it, my sister? Imagine, 50 just went like that. You will make me to weep. 50. 50K. Now, why should you know the difference between a fake note and one that is not fake? Now, a fake note and a genuine note look almost similar. Yet, one is fake and one is what? And love and lust may look somehow similar. Some things crisscross, yet love is not what? Lust. And lust is not love. It's important to know so that you're not deceived. The day when they deceive you with a fake note, you feel the pain. There are those nerves that are connected to your pocket. They pain you the most. Even when you try to sleep, you're rolling on bed because they gave you a fake note. Now, after some time you heal. But if they give you fake love, which is called lust, it is worse. Because it doesn't just affect your pocket. It affects your life, your future, your everything. You need to know. The reason we need to know the difference is because marriage is a lifetime commitment. And it demands a lasting love and affection for better, finish, or for what? Marriage is for better or for what? Once you click, I agree in marriage, There's no exit, my brothers and sisters. No exit. You can look whether there's left or right. Akuna, it's not there. You have just to go straight forward. But sometimes that should warn you and make you to be very careful. But some of you get married with this phrase, sitia danger. Have you read that thing? I have seen it. I don't know what it means, but I think it means for me, I have no fear. I don't fear what? You don't fear problems. You try marriage. Try marriage. Try marriage if you don't fear problems. If you build your marriage on fleeting lust that passes away, you can be sure that that marriage will not last. L-A-S-T. Let me repeat that. If you build your marriage on the foundation of L-U-S-T, you can be sure your marriage will not L-A-S-T. It's going to break at some point. I was reading a book by one marital counselor, a book called The Sacred Search. In his book, he gives this story, and he calls it A Tale of Two Tears. He describes two kinds of people who came to him. The first one was a pastor, incidentally. Even pastors have problems. Though they are the people you're going to go for when you make the mistake to marry using lust. They are the same people you will run to. But even them, they have their own issues. Listen, he says, the faithful pastor's face grew taut as he told me, let me be honest with you. My marriage has constituted the biggest cross of my life. You know a cross? It is something easy to carry. Something that is constantly paining. But he says, my marriage has been the biggest what? Cross in my life. The tears that slipped out of his eyes and rolled down his cheeks provided a sobering picture of the weight that this man carries with every day of life. So this man is very sorrowful. Every day he is working to see that his marriage can be better than yesterday. But the marriage keeps looking at him and says, you want to solve me? I'm not solvable. With tears and prayers, things are not working. But then he gives another picture of another woman who also has tears. A 30-something old woman looked into my eyes and she let her tears of another sort, a different kind of tears, to flow freely as she spoke of her husband's care for her. Here is a different set of tears. She is telling of how her husband does what? Does care for her. She had some health-related issues to contend with in her marriage. She had these health issues. And life has not been easy. But her husband has been another kind of rock. Her husband. A source of tremendous encouragement and acceptance. And so this woman says about her husband, she said, next to Jesus, my husband has been the greatest joy in my life. Couldn't that be a wonderful thing for your wife to say about you in future? Next to Jesus, my husband has been the greatest joy in my life. I can't even imagine where I'd be without him, or how I would have faced all that I have faced without him by my side. Which tears would you have cried? The ones of the pastor struggling with his wife? Oh, the tears of joy of this woman, thankful for God bringing this wonderful man into his life. Whether she is sick and cannot be able to manage, the man stands as a rock and says, darling, I am here for you. Don't worry. Don't worry. It is for better or for what? For worse. We are going to make it through. I want to be that kind of a husband. Men, do you want to be that kind of a husband? Let me see those men joining me. Next to Jesus. Amen. That's a wonderful thing. Tears of pain and tears of joy. You see, even though not every marriage is perfect, but there are some marriages that are compared to a cross you're bearing. And there are other marriages that are so sweet, you can compare it with a foretaste of heaven. And so the man asks, what kind of tears will you be crying 10 years from now? Will they be stinging tears of pain? Or will they be warm tears generated by joy? On the 10th anniversary of your wedding, will you be wishing, I wish I had never met this man? Or will you be saying, let it last, let it continue? What will you be saying? Yes, every marriage is going to have struggles, but There's a difference when you choose right. The way you go through those struggles. When you choose right, you can pass through those struggles in a better way. There are marriages that partners seek to build up each other. And there are marriages where partners do what? They tear each other down. I don't want to be a part of such. Everything in marriage will take time and effort. But there are some spouses in marriage that can generate you joy, enthusiasm, and intimacy. But on the other side, there are spouses you can get married to who will take your energy away. They sap your strength and productivity. You cannot be anything good just because of them. So how your marriage will look 10 years after your wedding depends on the choices that you're making today of who to marry and why you're actually doing what? Marrying them. Choices. Someone said choices have consequences. Choices have what? Consequences. The person you marry is the last person that you will see every night before you go to sleep. Imagine if the love has died and you've got to see this person every night before you go to sleep. I once saw a certain, it was a bad kind of video where the husband had embarrassed the wife 10 years when they were on their wedding day. The husband, that very day of marriage, he embarrassed the wife, and the wife could not manage to forgive. And the wife knew what to do. So every time after a week or two, when the husband is very much sleeping and snoring, the wife wakes up with a lot of anger boiling in her, and times very well. Pah! Thanks. What is it? Sorry, sweetheart, were you having some nightmare? What has happened? What has happened? Do you have a strange dream? What did you see? Tell me. Oh, Father in heaven, please help my husband. Ah. That brother has been slapped many times, it seems, because of a mistake he made on their wedding day. The person you marry is the last person you're seeing every night before you sleep. Their face is the first one you will see when you wake up in the what? In the morning. Their words will either encourage you or discourage you. Their humor will make you laugh in amusement, or they will make you to cry in shame. Their body will pleasure you or threaten you. Their hands will hold you close, or they will hurt you. Their presence will be a healing balm or a reminder of all that could have been, things you might have avoided. That person is important, my friend. 40, 50, 60 years in marriage with someone whom you don't trust and you hate and you don't love is going to be terrible hell. The worst prison you can be is in a home where there is no love. You would rather do anything elsewhere. You will stay in the bar till midnight and just report to sleep and still be worried. This is some newspaper from my country telling you the problems that we have in our country. Shock as a man does what? Man kills the wife and burns her body after family party. Are these the stories that should be written about us 10 years to come? I doubt, and I don't want for you. You know, in my country, Kenya, we have a lot of problems for sure. I don't know why, but look at these news articles. I'll read them for you. This is just 2022 in summary in Kenya. A man kills himself and his wife and his son in a suspected domestic row. Another news. A man stabs wife to death after storming her workplace. Another news. Husband stabs wife for sleeping in the sofa. Hey. Another news. A Nakuru man kills the wife and the daughter after the spouse objects to his trying to sell land. Another news. A Kenyan man kills his wife, 3 children and surrenders to the police. Don't come to my country. Machakos. A man kills the wife in cold blood and leaves her lifeless. Nakuru. A man kills the wife and throws himself in a well. Kenyan married jockey, children killed by husband in the US. A man dies after attempting to kill his daughter and wife. Killing. Why are these things happening? And I'm just giving you a drop in the ocean. Is your marriage going to terminate your life, or is your marriage going to make your life very wonderful? It depends on the choices that we make today and how careful we make them. You see, the problem or the issue with lust is that lust often overshadows clear judgment and reasoning. It overshadows advice. It fails to notice any red flags that might be raised, and lust will justify itself when it is being bewitched by a love hormone that we call phenylethylamine, PEA. It is the infatuation hormone. When you are under that particular drug, nobody can advise you. You're not advisable. Someone has said, love is blind, but marriage is the eye opener. Hey. During the time you're in love, you don't notice the mistakes in the person. But when you enter marriage, your eyes begin to open. You see, is this how you look in the morning? Hey. That's how you snore at night? Yes. Hey. Marriage becomes the what? You see, when people are dating and courting, they try to look their best. Marriage will bring out your worst. That's what you don't know about marriage. Marriage will find you when you didn't expect to be found. The way you are. In marriage, there's no makeup. Outside marriage, we make up, isn't it? Hey, you can choose to look the way you want. But when you get into marriage, you look the way you look. We wake up, we look at each other, and hey, you will see these men the way our legs look. The way we look, you will see us. You will see our ancestry all drawn around us, and you wonder, did I marry a rock? Let me go with you through the chemistry of love briefly. The chemistry of what? The chemistry of love. Phenylethylamine, or PEA, according to this new article, is the second neurotransmitter involved in passionate love. It is a chemical associated with amphetamines, and it effects on people's moods and energy. Its effects on people's moods and energy are similar to those of various what? Stimulants. So someone who is under the spell of this PEA is like someone who is on certain drugs. They are high, we say that. And this is why people in love, number one, they feel how? Energized. This is the chemistry of love. We are boiling. They feel upbeat and optimistic. PEA and dopamine together, they give enough energy and reason to a person to stay up how long? All night. You can tell because you have done it. You can chat up to 2, 3. And you say, let us finish here. Yeah, we have finished. I love you. Good night. Do you remember? And people can escort each other like, you stay in Many Stewart. Hey, okay, let me take you please before the... Oh, we have reached. But I'm afraid going back. Let me take you back. The whole night. And they talk to the person they're in love with the entire night because they are under something else. The early passion in love, what will happen with it? This is the problem. It will eventually do what? It will fade away. It doesn't remain forever. The love and the wanting, the respect and commitment can last forever. But the high passion, that thing that you feel in you, will disappear in a long-term relationship. After 20 years of marriage, people are still in love, but this time, it is not full of high temperatures as it was before. It is now calm and steady. You know how young people drive when they are first given the car? You know the way they go? They know that the pedal that you need in a car, accelerator. So immediately they step inside, where are they focusing? And the vehicle goes, car! But when the old man steps into the car, he's not in a hurry with speed. He knows how to manage his car very well. He is calm, he is reasonable. It is hard to find him in an accident. But many of us, we are driving under PEA. This is according to Dr. Robert Fryer of Ferry State University. He says, falling in love involves PEA, which causes a person to be less likely to be aware of the faults of the other person. That's the problem with this chemical in the body. When it is under operation, the person becomes very perfect. Even if someone tries to comment negatively, you will beat that person up or break friendship. I tell you the truth. You will return after the heartbreak and say, you were right, you were right. You were right, I was wrong. Okay, yeah. Because something was driving you back then. It was a chemical. According to the book Conscious Dating by David Steele, we read, falling in love involves phenylethylamine, or the love drug, which gives us this euphoric high when everything feels so wonderful. It's kind of you're floating in the air, headed to Eden or paradise. You're fallen in love. And then you begin singing songs like, us against the world, us against the world. It's just the two of you against all of us. Okay. You will come to us, you'll come back to us. For now you are against the world. You'll come back. Then you begin to think that this person can do what? This person is perfect. I finally got the perfect match. Can do no mistakes. And even when you see the mistakes, you say, that was just something little, This person is perfect. Can't disappoint me. Maybe I didn't see right, or I'm just overjudging. When we meet someone to whom we are sexually attracted, our bodies respond by releasing these neurochemicals that can leave us stuttering, incoherent, breathless, sweating. Even you stammer when you're in love. Hey, those things happen. Infatuation is when people fall in love and they can think of nothing else. They have fallen and their whole mind, they're in class, that's where they are. They are thinking. You think they're in church, but they're in that other corner where that person is. Wherever they are, their mind is occupied with that person. We call it infatuation. So what is infatuation? According to the English dictionary, infatuation is a state of mind in which the intellectual powers up here are what? They are weakened, either generally or in regard to a particular object, so that the person affected acts without his usual what? Judgment. So when someone is infatuated, they may do some things that they will not naturally what? Do at other times when they are normal. They can lend money, they become very philanthropic. The person says, I needed this amount of money to do this. That one. Hey, I told you that nothing is impossible. Even now they have become, nothing is impossible. They go and borrow, they give. Infatuation. And they do things that are contrary to the dictates of what? Reason. Dictates of reason. During infatuation, two persons become acquainted. They are infatuated with each other. The whole attention is absorbed. Reason is blinded. Judgment is overthrown. They will not submit to any what? Any advice or control. They will insist on having their own way, regardless of the what? Of the consequences. You say, this man is a drunkard. He will hurt you. You say, let him hurt me. Let him hurt me. I love him. Let him hurt me. Let him hurt you. Okay. It's your choice. Infatuation says, regardless of any consequence, it is like some epidemic or pandemic that must run its course. It has started and COVID must reach the whole world. That is infatuation. And the infatuation that possesses them is the infatuation that possesses them. And there seems to be no such thing as putting a what? A stop to it. Parents may do anything. You may even be taken for counseling. They may even call pastors to talk to you. But when you are infatuated, you are mad. It doesn't work until the chemical goes down. Perhaps there are those around them who realize that should these two parties who are interested be united in marriage, they realize it could only result in a lifelong what? Unhappiness. But the entreaties, the beggings, the exhortations, advices, They are given, and they are given in what? In vain. I remember when I was in campus, a certain friend of mine asked me advice about a certain lady, but I didn't know he was infatuated. So I told him the truth. You know, this lady looks good, but I have issues with 1, 2, 3, 4 on her. And because he was infatuated, he went back and told the lady everything I had told him about her. And that lady hated me she hated me. I could know that he has told her. I knew. And so they went into the relationship. Today, 10 years later, they are not married to each other. They are married to different people because the relationship didn't work. Just as I prophesied, though I was not a prophet, I was just calm and reasoning. The chemicals of lust, they usually wear off within how long? 6 months to 18 months. So if you're making a decision based on this thing that is passing, a time is going to come when your eyes are now clearing and the clouds that were blocking you are now becoming more clear. But if it finds when you have already entered marriage, no turning back. You will just be singing Tuli Bubi. And for sure, Muli Bubi. Another problem with infatuation and lust is that infatuation and these neurochemicals, they do not care for your age. You can find an old man being deceived by a very young girl, by the way. Old man, but he feels, even the way he begins to put on perfumes, the man was all ready to die, but infatuation has caught up with him, and the man decides now he puts on perfumes, and even the shirts, he wants these tight ones which young men are wearing, but he's your father. He's looking for fitting. He says, can I get a fitting? Infatuation doesn't know age. It is a chemical. It doesn't. Once it comes, even a priest or a pastor, it just attacks you and you just do miserable things because it is a chemical. And infatuation, I compare it to fireworks. You know those fireworks on New Year? Fireworks. They just begin all of a sudden. Papa. Everyone looks out and everyone rejoices. Hey. And then, do the fireworks last forever? Finally the fireworks are gone and then the night is dark and we sleep. That's infatuation. It just comes and it's very colorful for a while. And it is very noisy. Everyone can see you posting the person. Everyone on your status, everywhere. Facebook, what? And then, when that thing has happened, we now see you writing, all men are dogs. We are not all dogs. No, some of us are men. Ladies, be kind. Not all men are dogs. Please be specific. Say that my choice was a dog. Not all of us, because how can we own the mistakes that you made with him? All men are what? Please. We are not. And so this is what we say, dear friends. Do not allow the neurochemical reactions in your body that don't last to help you to make a decision that is lifelong. Let me say something very honest here. This is too honest. Even for the men who are married and for the unmarried men. You always feel something terrible, or at least if you are married you felt, but for now we have locked you out. Men will not only feel that thing for one woman, and that is how it happens. They will meet this one in Makerere University and they say, oh Lord, wow, hey, God, you are a wonderful designer. This is it. And then Makerere University ends and they go to another place and they say, I had never reached this part of the world. It is now that I'm meeting this other one. Now, I want to say, not everyone that you feel something for is a person to be married to. Let me repeat. Not everyone that trickles something in you, that doesn't mean that you need to marry them. Whatever you're feeling is a chemical reaction. Please let the chemical reaction finish. Then think. Are we together with someone? I hope we are. Just because there is some romantic chemistry doesn't mean that you should seriously consider marrying the person. Please. Because most of us, we are married to people after we had romantic chemistries with other people. Why? Because that's a chemical reaction that happens. Because we have interacted with someone and maybe they were kind to us. Some of you are with someone simply because he hugged you when someone broke your heart. That's what happened. The other one broke your heart, and after breaking your heart, this other one came and said, what has happened? It is so and so. I said, hey, that guy is bad, please. Some men can be so horrible. No, he has done the wrong thing. Oh, sorry, my sister. Please. Oh. And then after 2 weeks, I think I love you. I have feelings for you. What do you feel the same? And you have to decide as a man whether you feel or not, but you know you feel. Feeling you feel. But whether she's the right person, it may not be. Are we together? Feelings are there, but we should not make them the foundation upon which we build the relationship. So now we have talked much about lust. So what is love? How should love behave? We go to the Bible. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 13, this is the love chapter, verse 4 to 8. This is a love that is free from infatuation. Love suffers long and is kind. Love does not envy. Love does not parade itself, is not puffed up. Love does not behave rudely, does not seek its own, is not provoked, thinks no evil, does not rejoice in iniquity, but rejoices in the truth. Love bears how many things? All things believes, all things hopes, all things and love endures all things. Finally, read with me. Love never fades. Lust fades. Love does not. Now, have you noticed that while we were reading about love, it didn't say love feels good? Did you read anything like that? The love feels sweet. Did you read that? Love has been described in character. Love is not a feeling, it's a what? It's a principle. Love is not a feeling, it's a principle. True love is a high and a holy principle. This writer says, it is altogether different in character from that love which is awakened by impulse and which suddenly dies when severely what? Tested. So there is that is lust. Lust, when it is tested, what happens to it? It dies. True love is not a strong, fiery, impetuous passion, some feeling. On the contrary, it is calm and deep in its nature. Love is calm, my friends. It looks, look at that word, that phrase says it looks beyond what? Mere externals, and it is attracted by what? Did you read that last one? Do you agree? You may not. Love is attracted by qualities, not quantities. I know for most young people in your list are just a list of quantities. How much is she carrying behind, below, in front? Quantities. Love is attracted by what? Qualities alone. Why? Because quantities keep changing, but qualities improve. Did you hear me? Quantities change, but qualities improve over time. Love is wise and discriminating, and its devotion is real and abiding. Those who are actuated by true love, they are neither unreasonable nor blind. So if you are blind, you are not in love, you are in lust. Love is not blind. Love sees wide. And so, in order to know whether what you're going through is lust or love, these are good questions to ask yourself. Question 1. Why are you interested in the relationship that you're going through now? Is it just for sex or because of the qualities in that person? Ask yourself. Do you love the person themselves or the body? Ask yourself. Question 2. Are you willing to give this thing you're feeling and this relationship what? Time before making the ultimate decision. Before saying I'm going to marry you. Are you willing to give this thing what? Time. So that those feelings can die and then you can think clearly before making the what? The decision. Please don't meet someone and then within 3 months you say we are getting what? Married. Don't hurry because you will worry ahead. We beg you. Take time to pray. Take time to counsel. Take time to get advice. Take time to hear people who have something to criticize. Time. In the Bible there's a man called Jacob who really loved a woman called Rachel. You remember? And they deceived him and gave him the wrong woman after serving how many years? 7 years. And having received that now he says, I love that one too much. I will serve another what? Love takes what? And the Bible says those 7 years seemed to him very few because he was truly in love. Will your love wait or your love is rushing you? How do you feel about the person's flaws? How do you feel about some of their flaws of character? Another question you need to answer. Do you appreciate the person and the relationship you've been better over time? Do you? Since you got into the relationship, have you become a better person or you're getting worse? And since you got into the relationship, is the relationship grown in a way that makes you more spiritual, more strong mentally and in every aspect of life? Have you? Another question. Do you spend time fantasizing about this person and the future? Or do you think about the reality of the future? You know, many people, when they fall in lust or love, lust for that matter, they are always thinking of, we are in Zanzibar now. Again, they are thinking of crazy things, by the way. They think of what they are going to build. They think how they are going to give birth to twins. They are already thinking. They are fantasizing. They are building things that are not in this world. Are you disparate or insecure about the relationship? Or do you feel secure as a partner in this relationship? Are you so disparate that you must be where he is every time? And if he doesn't say something sweet to you, you don't feel like you are valued and you have to prove to them that you are of value? Are you disparate? Some of us are so disparate. Even when a man abuses you, you go back. And when they abuse you, you apologize to them. They have even told you how foolish you are, and you say, I'm so sorry for my foolishness. Just forgive me because, I just... Don't be disparate. Know your value in God. You are of value. Stand up for your value. Does the lover take up all your thoughts so that you fail to function in a balanced way? Since you fell in love, how many classes have you missed because of this guy? Since you fell in love, how many good things that you used to do, how many times have you been late to work because of the lady or the man? Don't you see it's distracting you? Perhaps this thing is making you not reason as you should. Are those good questions? Yeah. Has the relationship distanced you from your friends and your family whom were thinking to counsel with you or tell you something? Have you just become two of you against the whole world so that anyone else has been thrown away? It's just the two of you in that battle. Another question. Have you stopped attending church or social events with friends or family because of this relationship? Have you? Remember, marriage is a communal event. And if your love is making you to distance yourself from community, you're going to marry and I don't know where you live. But your wife and you form part of society, don't you? Yeah. Another question. How is your lover's emotional maturity? How do they deal with disagreements and arguments? Have they ever abused you or slapped you, but you're still just in a relationship? Don't you sense that this guy will be worse when you make the commitment? If now he has not made the commitment and he has done it, what will happen ahead? Does my partner ignore the rights of others to show me love and respect? What do I mean? You go to a hotel, They order food for you, the person delays to deliver, and he begins to abuse everyone in the restaurant. Where is that foolish lady that we sent to go and bring her? To show you that he is in control, he is in charge, he is powerful. Run for your life. The next time that you will be under him and he has lost it again, this time you will be the one that people will know he is in charge of you. Everyone will know. You will be in trouble. Questions. Whenever you meet this person, is it more physical, involving caressing and hugging and kissing, than a calm conversation on topics of common interest that you seek to help you know each other? How is it? How is it? Let me even give harder questions. Harder. These are questions about the future now. If my lover developed a disability or got an accident in future that disabled them, would I stay and care for him to the end or run away? Hey, you say, huh? Hey, okay. If what is taking you into marriage is because they have good hips and you are fantasizing about good sexual relationship, question. What if they got an accident where you can no longer have sex? Will you stay? Oh, you say, not me, Lord. Not me. Choose someone else for that. Think. Love will say, I am staying. Because love endures how many things? But lust will not last. Lust will run. Would I remain faithful if my partner cannot give birth or has become sterile? Would I? Hey, it shows you where you're standing. Another question. If my partner loses his job or wealth, would I remain and help him or her to build it back? Or that would be the end? Am I willing to serve my partner and not just to be served and loved, but seeking to love first and to sacrifice for him or her? Will I treat them with respect and patience even after learning of their ugly faults and weaknesses? Will I? Dear friends, remember, love is the only lasting foundation for a thriving what? Thriving family. Nothing else has the capacity to bind the couple as love can. And so 10 years from now, what kind of tears do you want to be crying? Tears of joy or tears of pain? Do I want to be in a marriage that lifts me up or one that drags me down? Do I want to be in a union that is marked by a shared partnership or one where we are hiding from and hurting each other on a regular basis? Which one? We have finished for tonight. My question is, look at the relationship you are in if you're in one tonight and ask, is it love or just lust? And please, give it time before you tell the person and promise them, I will marry you. Give it what? Give it time. That's why we have what is called dating or courtship. It is a period of trying to determine whether you can share the future with that person. May God bless you and help you to evaluate right so that the future will not be dark. Have a good evening.